We have to talk about Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She died on Friday at 87 years old from pancreatic cancer complications. And now everyone is focusing on the fight to fill her seat on the Supreme Court. Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, they both vowed that whoever the president nominates will get a vote on the Senate floor before the election. So I'm reading your comments, okay? I've been reading them since about an hour ago, and a lot of you are talking about the hypocrisy of this because the same two men refused to allow a vote for President Obama's nominee in 2016, saying the voters should decide. Joe Biden had this reaction.
And I believe voters are going to make it clear they'll not stand for this abuse of power. So I appeal to those few Senate Republicans, the handful who really will decide what happens. Please follow your conscience. Don't vote to confirm anyone nominated under the circumstances President Trump and Senator McConnell have created.
All right, so DBL Nation, we want to continue to hear what you think. That's what this show is all about. So should the Supreme Court nomination happen before or after the election? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. And, you know, and some of you, I should say, Al, are pointing to the fact that, listen, if they want the chance to overturn the Affordable Care Act or Roe v. Wade, which is, you know, abortion, then they need to get this seat filled. What are your feelings about getting it filled before the election?
My thoughts are those two things that you just mentioned are very big issues. I don't think we should be rushing anything. What if Mark came to you and your husband Mark and said, hey, let's figure out where we're going to live and where the kids are going to go to college and where we're going to retire, and let's try and get that done before 8 o'clock tonight. It would sound ridiculous. Those are big issues that you need to sit down and hash out. Jeff, I'm just going to say this. I feel like we live in a world, in a society based on ideas and rules. It's really just ideas, Jeff. I'm going to not do this to you because we want to have a structured society. When we start not allowing things for one party, allowing things for another party, those ideas and those ideals and that trust breaks down and you have no society, Jeff. It has nothing to do with Democrat or Republican. It's about destroying and setting precedents.
Yeah, Al, I'm with you. I think they need to take their time on this. I understand why they want to get someone in there, right?
Of course.
Obviously. So they want that power. So I don't blame President Trump for trying to rush this along because it's kind of his legacy. I mean, you appoint these judges and they're there for life. So this is going to change decades of history. So this is a big thing, not only for his legacy, but for the Republican Party. So I get why they're trying to push it along. But like Al says, you know, when Obama tried to do this, I believe I was reading somewhere that it was 268 days. And they wouldn't allow it. I think, we have 40 days left to the election, so it is a little hypocritical. I definitely see where Al's coming from.
Got it.
It's not a little hypocritical. It is hypocritical.
Right, 8 months versus with Obama versus the 40 days. So far, it looks like we got 75% of our viewers saying after the election. So this morning, though, the president said that he does plan to name a nominee this Friday or Saturday, and he vowed to choose a woman, but he's also disputing RBG's dying wish that she would not be replaced until a new president is sworn in. Here is what he told Fox and Friends.
Well, I don't know that she said that, or was that written out by Adam Schiff and Schumer and Pelosi. I would be more inclined to the second. Okay, you know, that came out of the wind. It sounds so beautiful. But that sounds like a Schumer deal, or maybe a Pelosi or Shifty Schiff. So that came out of the wind.
Al, what do you make of the president disparaging RBG's last wish, considering that came directly from her granddaughter?
My question would be, why would he think that? What information did he have? I mean, it would behoove him to think that so that he can move along with his plan. But I think that, again, Jeff, like I'm saying, there has to be some rules, some ideals, some principles that we live by. Some of those, Sam, are to respect the dead, to respect the dead's wishes. What can they do? We don't have to. The reason we do that is because we want to have a society based on values. And if we move those values aside because we want power, well, you can do it.
Right.
The dead can't come back and do anything, but what are you saying to your living society moving forward?
Now,
that's my question.
I'm going to really quickly, Jeff, I want to look at the megaphone one more time. 73% of you believe that the Supreme Court nomination should happen again after the election. Also, I do want to say that President Trump did have very respectful, nice things to say about Ruth Bader Ginsburg when he did find out about her passing. So I think that is very important to note as well. Now, for many of us, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a hero as the second second woman ever to be named to the Supreme Court. She was a champion, of course, of women's rights and paved the way for women to be treated equally before the law. She was also someone, did you know that she wasn't treated very fairly. She was rejected for jobs at several top New York law firms and was even denied a clerkship on the Supreme Court, all because she was a woman. And Jeff, you know, for me, I look at Ruth Bader Ginsburg and I'm allowed to go get pregnant, come back and have a secure job because of her. I'm allowed to go get a small business loan without a male co-signing because of her, which I've done. I'm allowed to go get a home mortgage, which I've done without a male co-signer because of her. So I have such great appreciation and respect for this woman. What does her legacy mean to you?
You know, I just the champion of women's rights is what jumps off the page for me, Sam. I mean, what an icon. We lost a good one. She was respected on both sides. Both parties respected her, and she respected both parties, which is another great thing about her. But I do have to mention, Al, this one's for me and you. The Notorious B.I.G. kind of put her up to that next level.
You know what I mean?
It
is, Jeff? You're exactly right. That I feel like that saying, the Notorious R.B.G.
Yep.
Then
books
opened her up to books and T-shirts and made her more of a pop culture icon. You're exactly right, Jeff. Good call on that. I didn't even think about that.
It's true, especially for our youth. And one thing that I just want to mention before we go, you know, Jeff, and I think you're going to appreciate this most, you too, Al, but she really, really focused. One of her most famous quotes were, "You can disagree without being disagreeable." She did not like
Jeff
yelling.
Schroeder.
Yeah, that's Jeff Schroeder. She did not like to yell. Well, that part may not be Jeff Schroeder. but the part about you can disagree without being disagreeable, that's the whole theme of our show. It's important to have checks and balances. It's important to have debate, but you do it with civility. And that's why we love her, and we hopefully can carry that torch. Jeff, stick around. Coming up on DBL,